Do we have the next psyop incoming? We have lots of reports that meteors all over the world are hitting the Earth. And they are saying that these meteors are caused by the debris tail of Comet 3I Atlas, your third eye illumination, enlightenment. The Americans have in space a project called Project Thor, where you have these rods which imitate meteors, so this can be easily manufactured. Now, the designer of that program, Project Thor, wrote a book called Lucifer's Hammer, Lucifer, your third eye, iPet Goat 2, your third eye, enlightenment, the synthesis of the duality. Now, the creator of Project Thor wrote a book called Lucifer's Hammer about fragments of a space object, an asteroid hitting the Earth. Then Arthur C. Clarke borrowed that idea. Arthur C. Clarke took his idea from Lucifer's Hammer and created the book Hammer of God, which is Thor, Project Thor, Hammer of God. And we have the film Deep Impact, which was influenced by the book Hammer of God by Arthur C. Clarke. We have the film Greenland, and now we have a sequel to Greenland, which is about a comet, a fragment of a comet hitting the Earth. And they go to Greenland to survive. We have this controversy about Greenland. And the comet in Greenland is called Clarke, after Arthur C. Clarke, an ELE. Could we have an ELE event? A extinction level event, which I believe will be man-made. This is all a psyop, including World War III with Iran, who are controlled opposition. And I will show you how controlled opposition works. So we have all these fireballs, and they are saying that these fireballs are due to a debris tail of Third Eye Atlas, which I believe is a man-made object. In 1984, Johns Hopkins University created an artificial comet. In 1984, we have the aliens in the Olympic ceremony, encounters of the third kind, your third eye. E.T. points to the boy's pineal gland, third eye. This is about man's illumination, all these events. The crown bug, the third eye. So, it looks like Trump may be assassinated in April. We are in March. There's sadness. It seems like La Palma is on the bottom of the apple. We have a meteor here, or comet, Comet Third Eye Atlas. When the ball rolls on the duality floor, you have La Palma on the bottom of the apple. This meteor event caused La Palma a seismic shock. So we have La Palma at the bottom of the apple. See my other videos. There, the heart-shaped island, La Palma. This is about Lewis Carroll, Alice in Wonderland. Everything's going to be exposed. The Epstein files. Death of King Charles, the crown coin under the foot. Lewis Carroll. The duality splits, and then you have a synthesis, you have new life. And then it shows us the events. We have the collapse of the Twin Towers. We have what looks like a tsunami coming towards America. This seems to read as La Palma. We have the tsunami here. We have the American flag being torn. Remember, this is the anniversary of America. There's the tsunami. Now they need to level up the playing field in this war, because all we know about this war is that Iran is getting hit, but there's no evidence that the other country in the Middle East is getting hit at all. So it's all a psyop. So we have the collapse of the duality, and then we have a synthesis. We have the cleansing event of the tsunami. The end of America as we know it. The end of Trump, who is the guy with moustache, Antichrist figure. Then we have the birth of the Christ consciousness, the third eye Atlas, the meteor event. Could the meteor event lead to La Palma collapse? We have Bin Laden on Greenland with a meteor on his beard. Greenland, the film Greenland. Clarke, Hammer of God. We have this incoming psyop of the meteors. We have the meteor on his beard, first spotted on this channel. We have the lunar eclipse, which just happened. We had the attacks on the 28th of February, the planetary alignment. We had an intensity of the attacks on the lunar eclipse. We now have a new leader of Iran, and he seems to be wearing a blue scarf. Remember the prophecy of Nostradamus and the blue turban. We have Iranian soldiers here, and they have the all-seeing eye, showing that they are controlled. They are all part of this plot to give birth to this new age. And then the oil runs out. We have the psyop, which is the block of Hormuz, the Straits of Hormuz. And I believe then we will be at war with China. China will invade Taiwan. And this seems to be shown in this film. And there seems to be some kind of nuclear explosion as well. Could there be some kind of nuclear explosion in Iran? Or something which looks like one? And then we have what looks like war with China here, with the little girl stopping the tanks. Again, we have the yin and yang symbol here, the duality and the synthesis. And then we have the new age, the birth of the new age, the Christ consciousness. And we have the pyramid. We have the Great Pyramid eclipse, the longest of the century, over Giza in 2027. So it looks like they're hyping up this fake Three-Eye Atlas debris tail. And this is what Stephen Burns is reporting. Now, Stephen Burns, to me, looks like a beep. And he's saying that all these meteors are falling around the world due to the debris tail of Comet Third Eye Atlas. Of course, it's a load of nonsense. It's all nonsense. It's a complete psyop, like World War III. And so we can see that this is all shilling because Iran have Twitter accounts on Twitter, which shows you that Iran are controlled opposition. They always have been. The richest family in Iran are the Sassoons. They married into the Red Shills. They created BP oil. They're all controlled. The revolution was created by America. Let's look at controlled opposition, like George Galloway, GG, who told us that Israel was getting badly damaged. It's not. And this is how controlled opposition works. They exaggerate the enemy. When Iran has no navy, it has no air force, and it's all controlled by that country in the Middle East. They control all sides, and Freemasonry. They control all sides, and this is how shilling works. Remember, he promoted the William Shakespeare. And so he's massively exaggerated the threat of Iran as a military force. Massively exaggerated it, and that's what Shills do. When Iran has no navy, it has no air force, and this is all a psyop, and they're pushing the oil price up on purpose. Let's look at more Shills. Tommy Robinson on Russell Brand's show with a raven. It's all Freemasonry, all seeing eye. And we have Neil Oliver on UK Column, again showing you that anybody on UK Column is a shill. David Icke is a shill. They are all shills. There is no truth movement. Does not exist. It's all shilling. And they're all on the same team. And they're all following the same script. And I will show you how George Galloway is a shill. I've shown you how George Galloway is a shill. Now let's look at Reverend Simon Sideways, SS. We've got the old Freemasonry again, like George Galloway, GG. Remember, George Galloway's nickname is GG. Now this man actually predicted that there could be a tsunami from La Palma. This guy is a Dasson shill. Now this guy told you during the Crown Bug that they would put people in camps and prisons, when we know there is zero space in prisons in the UK. So they exaggerate the consequences by ramping up the fear, just the same as George Galloway has done with Iran. Iran does not have the military to challenge the West. There is zero evidence that any of Iran's missiles have landed in Israel. Zero evidence. And what these people do is they exaggerate the threat, and through this fear-mongering they enforce the fake narrative that the mainstream media are actually pushing, like George Galloway, who has hyped up Iran. And remember that George Galloway always mentions that incident in World War II. He always mentions it first. Before he mentions any suffering of Muslims, he always mentions that incident, that episode in World War II. And this also shows you that Islam is completely controlled. There has been no protests in the UK. Islam went along with all the mosques went along with the Crown Bug. There's been hardly any rebellion here. All the countries surrounding that country have been on the side of that country in the Middle East. Islam is completely controlled, and what I believe is that they want to create a new religion after these events, a new religion based on human enlightenment, which will then lead to transhumanism, and they need a new kind of religion and a new way of thinking about spiritual matters in order to have this transhumanist society, which is the future with man merged with technology. Thank you.